to the Crypto Vigilante. I'm your host, Raphael, and I want to share some special thoughts with you today. Since we got Bitcoin, since the dawn of Bitcoin, we have had the ability to enjoy for the first time on the internet in a network where we can partake in peer-to-peer exchange. The type of exchange that does away without any central planners, the type of exchange that focuses on you, the individual. This type of technology was created to give you more freedom. And it so happens that these technologies can only truly give you more freedom when they are preserved in a way that champion the individual. At any moment in time when these technologies, for one excuse or another, are sold to necessitate the need of an intermediary, at that point, that crypto technology that you are using is no longer serving its original and most important reason for being. You can draw your own conclusions as to what network or networks I may be referring to. And it so turns out that we now find ourselves in a world of what I would refer to as fake P2P, fake peer-to-peer technology. And what does that look like? What is that? What is a technology that invites the banking sector back into a world that does not need them anymore? And to be completely honest, that is their intent to salvage themselves as finding a way to partake within these new networks. Curiously enough, everything that these central banking or data entities offer puts themselves in the middle between peer-to-peer transactions. So where Bitcoin and honest cryptocurrencies gave us at the beginning of this entire revolution, gave us the means to transfer peer-to-peer, and I'll say it out loud, as you guys know me very well, since the hijacking of Bitcoin that now is known as BTC, we have found many interested parties, names like BlackRock, Vanguard, JP Morgan, Mastercard, make their way into this precious space, this very precious space that we call the crypto world, the Bitcoin world, and placing themselves in the middle of our individual interactions. When they did this, and when they do this, and when they psyop themselves into our networks through their marketing, their lobbying, and what have you, they take away power from you and siphon it back to themselves. Now, before we get carried away talking about that right now, I would like to draw a distinction, a juxtaposition to this, which you guys are pretty familiar with. For a lot of us that came to crypto since the early Bitcoin days, like myself, it is actually very odd to find ourselves in a world where we have the traditional financial and big tech sector, slithering their way into this precious space. And probably one of the most beautiful things that we have witnessed in Bitcoin and crypto history is the unceasing and persevering nature of communities that focus on giving you the power back. Communities like Monero. So it's no shock whatsoever that in a time when we see a lot of political turmoil, where collectivist-driven mindsets throughout the world are putting individuals against one another by collectivizing them into groups. And in a time where we see nation states become more brazen in the way that they treat others, and political parties becoming more vile towards each other, and when we hear the idea of war becoming something more loud, it is no surprise that a network like Monero begins to rise. Because in spite of what these voices and these noise that have immense amount of capital and power, in spite of what these voices say, as they steal your attention on the internet through the feed that they give you, in spite of what they try to instill in you, to give up hope, to join them, because that's it. There's still a hardened group of developers and contributors in networks that are focused on delivering peer-to-peer technological solutions that have only grown stronger. And we're seeing them grow and expand in ways like we're watching and witnessing in real time with Monero. Monero does not have a centralized entity behind it, promoting it. Monero is composed of volunteers and contributors. Monero is a network that puts the free and open source software ethos first and foremost before everything that they do. So if you're confused on the internet and you don't know who to follow in terms of crypto, pay attention to those who are funded by venture capital. Pay attention to those who are composed and set up by centralized companies. Pay attention to influencers that come out of nowhere and become popular, and seek networks that are truly focusing on delivering peer-to-peer technology. When you use peer-to-peer technology, you identify the following. And I want to teach you this so that you are able to identify what is truly best for you. Peer-to-peer technology removes hops away from the system. A true peer-to-peer network does not force you to hop to a different type of network. A peer-to-peer network does not require an actual intermediary. A peer-to-peer network that is truly peer-to-peer finds its routing automatically within that network itself. And the genius of Satoshi is that, the creators of the first blockchain, Haber and Stornetta, the genius of the blockchain is to be able to find finality amongst nodes in the fastest, most efficient way possible. And that truly only happens on chain. So, in other words, true peer-to-peer technology that is fast, cheap, efficient is only found on chain, on a blockchain. And I want you to notice that I'm using the word technology, peer-to-peer technology. Satoshi Nakamoto gave us Bitcoin, peer-to-peer digital cash. And cash has manifested in many ways within crypto. But further than that, he gave us peer-to-peer technology. And within all of those manifestations of what cash is, we've had cash that is fungible and non-fungible. The specialty of something like Monero, is that it gives you peer-to-peer digital cash in the most pure way possible. And ladies and gentlemen, I have no use for something digital that does not give me utility. Again, if you are going to have something digital, it must give you utility. So for me on a personal level, the meme of digital gold does nothing to me. It's pointless. It's nothing more than a meme. Every time I hear someone talk about digital gold, I buy more gold, actual gold or silver. I don't care for the meme when I can have the real thing. I don't need a simulation of gold when I have the real deal. But when we talk about technology, digital currency, when we talk about peer-to-peer technology, we're focusing on utility. And the utility of peer-to-peer digital cash has best found the fullness of its manifestation in Monero. And the greatness of Monero is not even in its technology. The greatness of Monero comes forth from the free and open software ethos that the Monero community shares amongst themselves, where they themselves honor it and embrace it. And I've always said this, a Monero enthusiast is more ready to tell you what could possibly go wrong with Monero in the future than they are to tell you how great Monero is. And it even comes across their memes of don't buy Monero. It is dangerous to the banking establishment and destabilizes governments. Don't buy Monero. It's dangerous to the system that robs you of your personal sovereignty. Don't buy Monero if you want to be a slave forever. And where we find ourselves right now is in a world where everything is heading in that direction. Every political excuse will be used to create a bigger surveillance state around you. Flock cameras are everywhere now. Mass surveillance is everywhere. Drones are flying above you and you don't even see them. It's very dystopian out there. Ring cameras form a peer-to-peer mesh network via Bluetooth that from every home, they're spying on everything. You are living in a global prison already, in turnkey tyranny, ready to go, to dawn upon you a slavery from which you probably could never leave. So when we hear about Monero, when we hear about peer-to-peer technology, we have to step back and realize that what these networks are trying to give you is the greatest gift that anything in crypto could give you as a person. It is giving you your life back, your dignity back. Networks like Monero, of which Monero is king and leads the pack, aim to give you everything that you are. This is not only a call to action, but a call to reflection. You need to take your life serious. You need to take everything that you do moving forward very serious for yourself, for those you love, and for everyone around you. Seeking profit is no longer enough. If you find yourself in a digital concentration camp that you can't get away from, and you're a multi-billionaire, guess what? You're still in the same apparatus. And you're still going to live under the same fear as everyone else. Actually, probably even more fear. Fear of losing what you have and being a target for what you have. No one is freed from the disaster that is befalling upon humanity. And it's not because technology is evil. No, it's just a tool. Technology is just a tool that we as individuals use. And tools could be used for any means. The great equalizer here is when you take the power away from the centralized entities out there that want to control you and they want to use you, and you give it back to yourself, where you become the center of your network, which is the network that matters most. And when you accept that and you embrace that, you become more peaceful, prosperous, and you share in more freedom with others. These technologies have a ripple effect. And this is why there's so much money and energy spent on giving you fake privacy, fake decentralization. The vast majority of networks that claim to be decentralized are actually centralized. Because at the top, there is a group of developers with veto power that tell you what they're going to do. True decentralization is market-driven, is provided by free market forces, market drivers that move us to choose what is best for not just myself, but for all of us within networks of aligned incentives. And networks of aligned incentives are those that are most meritocratic in nature. And the constitutive makeup of a blockchain, specifically blockchains that are proof of work, are meritocratic in nature, where we reward those who within the network do the best work at the block of time present. And I wasn't thinking about talking about this, but might as well mention it. Proof of stake consolidates power into fewer hands. It's no different than the game theory you find from the corporate model, where Warren Buffett gets the lion's shares regardless of if you go work in Coca-Cola and make the company trillions of dollars tomorrow because you discovered something or you did something within the company. Warren Buffett keeps the lion's share. In a meritocratic peer-to-peer economy, every block of time, someone can be the new champion in the network. And out of all the possible peer-to-peer technologies that we can have, the technology of money, which is a technology that comes from us, the people, not something that is top down, as many will have you think. Money is a technology that belongs to us. Kings and queens want and desire, and tyrants, they desire to attain things by decree, through force, through mandates. Money is a technology that we have for each other. It is market driven, where there is a discovery of truth that happens called price. And in that discovery of truth, we find the means to serve one another in a voluntary way. Tyrants hate money. If you really think about it, they really do. They would much rather get things by decree. The fact that they have to participate in the market with us is something that is probably annoying to them. The beautiful thing is that in spite of all the psyops that we've lived through in crypto, the most important type of peer-to-peer technology is here. And it's not just only here, it is thriving. It is leading the market, and it is changing everything. If you're in crypto right now, you don't understand Monero, gosh, man, you don't know shit. I'm sorry to tell you the truth. If you don't understand what Monero means to crypto, you need to sit down with yourself and really understand it. You need to read it. You lack a lot of education. And I see a lot of people on the internet right now like, what's Monero? What's this Monero thing? Well, in a nutshell, Monero is what BTC has always marketed itself to be. It's what Bitcoin Cash has always marketed itself to be. It's what most networks have marketed themselves to be, that aspire to be some sort of digital cash. It is what a lot of these second layers, like the Lightning Network, promises people but never delivers at scale or fungibly. So it's actually really beautiful. It's actually really beautiful that I'm here talking to you guys about something that has been the most, well, not the most, but the second most delisted network in the world. It is the network that has the least liquidity on exchanges, and yet it's something that has broken away from the VC-funded centralized exchanges. It has no ETF, none of that Wall Street BS, and it's highly censored. And it's broken away from the altcoin market. It's broken away from the zombie people call BTC, and it's there on its own. And this trend will not end. Will never end. The crazier the world gets, the more people are going to realize how much they're actually exposed. When you actually study how Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these transparent networks work, you will begin to realize that they're not really even offering you the promise of peer-to-peer digital cash anymore. They don't even scale. Monero has always had a dynamic block size, for example. It's scalable. It can scale. And it's private by default. And most importantly, it's focused on the free and open source software ethos, where everyone is trying to figure out how to break Monero. So by all means, if you figure out how to break Monero, please tell us. Let everyone know that you broke Monero so they can fix it. Because that is the ethos, that is the gangster attitude of people who constantly fight for their freedom. They take care of each other in a peer-to-peer way, and they secure a space of shelter on the internet where they can really give dignity back to the human person. You know, I sometimes think of the internet as a place, or actually most cryptocurrencies as a stadium with people living in there, all, you know, like a prison, completely surveilled. That's what, to me, BTC is. What they call Bitcoin. That's what it is. It's just mass surveillance with no fungibility, where people like share each other's reputation. And here we go, like all of a sudden, now that like BTC is on fire and they're having a fork come February and they don't know how to scale still, even after the Civil War, 10 years later, Lightning Network still doesn't scale. They don't know what to do. All of a sudden, the VCs try to push a fake privacy coin like Zcash. And, you know, when it came out, it was so absurd. I didn't feel like making a video about it. It was just annoying. It was retarded. And all of a sudden, all these weird people from, you know, weird influencers that they hire to push their narratives to come out shilling Zcash. That thing's not private. It's extremely centralized. Only like 20% uses the shielded technology of ZK snarks. And just last week, 2 weeks ago, all of their devs quit. It's pathetic. Privacy is very important to us at the Crypto Vigilante. First and foremost, we're activists. We see that peer-to-peer technology it's almost like a battle cry for the future of everything, of our human existence. And if we don't teach the truth, then we're hurting ourselves. If we don't make the best of networks strong by educating people, we're not doing the best thing we could be doing. This is why we do what we do. These peer-to-peer networks need strong nodes. And the most important type of node in these best of networks is your mind. It's what you have up here, how you understand these technologies. And that's actually very profitable now because a lot of bullshit is out there selling itself as a real deal. A lot of bullshit funded by the usual suspects that want to enslave you and want to take advantage of you, that don't care about you, that see you as a useful idiot, that want to keep you within their grid of control. Those are the loudest voices in crypto now. And I hope you pay attention. And I hope you really learn. And, the truth is I have great news for you. You want to know? You want to hear it? Well, here it is. And it just gives me a lot of peace to tell you this. In spite of how much money invested, power, whatever guns they have, and in their control of the internet, it doesn't matter how much they have, whatever they have, all their bullshit, they will never, ever be able to compete with what we have to offer the world. The best they can do is a couple things. Psyop you in making you, trying to divert your attention into their schemes, trying to pay people like me to leave, because a lot of people like me have been paid to leave. I would never do that. Or they could, but the reality, guys, they don't have anything. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. We will always have the capacity to create peer-to-peer, true peer-to-peer technology where they will not be able to. And why is that? These entities having all the power in the world, all the money in the world that they literally print out of thin air, why is it that they won't ever be able to compete with us in the realm of peer-to-peer technology, true peer-to-peer technology? Why is that? Very simple. Because they are in their own way. We literally operate at a higher level of frequency, a higher level at our highest self. We don't operate from a place of greed or covetousness, or we don't operate from a place of lack or scarcity. We operate from a place of abundance. And that place of abundance manifests itself in peer-to-peer, true peer-to-peer technology. The megalomaniac central planning rent seeker desires to always be in the center of every human transaction, to grab, to nab from every Mastercard swipe. They want to eavesdrop in every conversation. They don't want a peer-to-peer world, but the truth is that we're here to stay. The peer-to-peer world is here. So the best that they can do is buy time to figure out how to psyop the world even more in giving you a fake Bitcoin, where then the solutions for the actual use of what this thing is an intermediary, a Mastercard credit card, a PayPal, a Square, a Block, or whatever you call that crap. That's what they want. I want to psyop you and tell you that's peer-to-peer. It's not. It's bullshit. The Lightning Network is bullshit. And everything that they've done is bullshit and will continue to be bullshit until people realize, what the heck are we doing here clapping for a Mastercard credit card? It's bullshit. And the real deal is coming alive. The real deal is here. And it's not going anywhere. And if you're smart, you will know what I'm talking about. Peer-to-peer technology in all areas of life, in all areas of voluntary exchange. And Monero is at the front of it. And they can't stop it. They won't be able to stop it. And behind Monero are technologies that are peer-to-peer that go beyond just money. Peer-to-peer data markets, the opposite of a Palantir, has already been built, laying there for the masses to just grab and run with it. The opposite of everything centralized is peer-to-peer, and it's already here. And the CIA, FBI, bullshit, central planning, funded VC crap of a centralized empire is dying. It's already dead. It's gone. And the best thing that they can do is scare humanity with threats of big wars to consolidate more power. It's tyranny is their only choice now. Literally, in order to stop peer-to-peer technology, true human freedom, which is already here, their only choice is to impose full tyranny. So you honestly don't have a choice. You honestly watching this, none of us have a choice. You either honor yourself as the center of the network that matters most, your life, you as an individual, you honor yourself, or you just try to get as high within that pyramid of power and pretend you're not a slave at the other end of a Orwellian Brave New World nightmare. That's up to you. And it's obvious that the market is already showing you that humanity does not want that. Monero has just barely started to move, and everyone's like shocked. I'm not shocked at all. I know this is we're gonna see this happen. Now, again, there is no VC fund. There is no Silicon Valley for Monero, for these technologies. If anything, Silicon Valley is the manipulator of innovation. That's really what they're there for, is to tame innovation, is to make it fit within the structures of their existing portfolios that acquiesce to the slavery systems that we already have, where you're the product and you're just getting enslaved. And they'll tell you in your face that you're going to live under communism. Universal basic income is nothing more than communist rations. And you're supposed to clap and be happy because you're going to be eating crickets and fake meat, right? Fake meat. That's the world that they want for you. And it's up to you if you're going to accept that world. Because again, what communists and what tyrants hate is one word: competition. They cannot compete against peer-to-peer technology that goes viral. So if you're an entrepreneur over there, outside of here, and you want to know, hey man, what can I develop where I can really the only place of true innovation, and get this through your head, this is extremely important. The only modus operandi for true innovation is peer-to-peer in all areas of technology. In all areas of technology, the modus operandi for success and the modus operandi where you actually create something meaningful into the future is peer-to-peer. That's it. If you want a salary, you want to be a salary slave, go be a salary slave. Go whatever. 9 to 5, go work at Oracle, whatever. Go work at some boomer centralized entity. Yeah. Go to the BTC conference and hang out in the bullshit, right? But crypto, real crypto, peer-to-peer technology, real Bitcoin is not for that. It's for creating things you can't create anywhere else. And those things created are what I refer to as peer-to-peer technology. So I can keep talking forever. I can keep telling you about, I can talk about this forever, guys. I really can. But I think I made my point. This is not going to stop. Peer-to-peer technology, true peer-to-peer technology, is not just an investment to make gains. Ironically, the investments that will make the most gains moving into the future are peer-to-peer gains. Peer-to-peer are based on investments into peer-to-peer technologies. Why is that? Because only true innovation is peer-to-peer, especially now with AI. AI can create anything, but AI is, let me use this word loosely, programmed to fit the needs of a centralized world, something that does not disturb the status quo of the corporate model. This is why Silicon Valley loves, and big tech, they love proof of stake. It doesn't rock them in one way or another. We need a meritocratic, and we have a meritocratic, peer-to-peer world already rising. And while you've been fed a bunch of BS in crypto in these past 8 years, the peer-to-peer world has been growing and fortifying itself with tools. And pretty soon, we will see AI on-chain that is trained via micropayments on AI, on-chain. It's going to happen. And it's going to be, and the best of networks for that will be a proof-of-work network. It's going to happen. It's actually happening already. But that's not the topic of this video. So into this next year, there will be a lot of PSYOPs. And the psyops extend beyond crypto. And I'm pretty sure that once peer-to-peer technologies really take off, there will be crazy scamdemics and everything you can dream of to try to keep humanity from reaching its full potential of being freed from these central planners. Ironically, paradoxically, and it seems almost like, it's a thought that I want to share with you. We've never been closer, and it just keeps happening. We've never been closer to a true peer-to-peer world going viral, and it has never seemed furthest away. That's just, as days go on, it just feels like that, because that is the truth. So peer-to-peer technology, like Monero, of which Monero is king, is you. And when it goes up in value, when it grows, your quality of life goes up in a very meaningful and true way, in a very literal way, because it means that you as an individual, regardless of who you are, what you think, what your preferences are in any way, shape, or form in your life, you as an individual grow. We use technology and everything, and technology is now an extension of you. And the fact that there are peer-to-peer tools rising in value in the market means you as an individual, your individual dignity, your individual worth as a person is rising up in value. When a centralized entity like any of these social media networks goes up in value, or any of these big data centers goes up in value, you go down in value because you're nothing but a slave to those systems. But when a peer-to-peer network that is like the most awesome, that gives you the most incredible tool, like sound digital cash, like Monero does, then your net worth as an individual person, and all of us, our net worth goes up. And that is a very special realization that I wanted to share with you today. Peace, love, anarchy.
Freedom in the breeze, oceans hymn, no chains, no pleas, no rulers, no kings, no scripts to recite. Burn the old book, let the phoenix ignite. Rebirth on the sand, where the rebels convene. A genesis scene, mind sharp and keen. Dollars to dust, trust in the soul. And Acapulco, where we break the mold. And Acapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, and Acapulco spoke. Acapulco, where the spirit flies. New dawn, breaking under open skies. No masters, no limits, no chains to choke. This is freedom's fire, and Acapulco spoke. Beach bonfire starts spark like flint. Ideas ricochet, no permission, no stint. Borders dissolve, minds expand. Every soul sovereign, every mind grand. No contract signed, just a handshake truth. Ancient wisdom reborn in the fountain of youth. Rules crumble like castles at high tide. Revolution lives where the dreamers reside. Golden horizon, the birth of the free. Echoes of laughter, the waves decree. Freedom is anthem, a beat in the chest. And Acapulco where the restless rest.
With performing artist Ayame.
I don't need a muse or anything to do. Probably just get canceled cause I'm singing about the truth. Feels like we're getting wiser, don't choose. Centralized and think the world, now nobody trusts the news.
Anarchapulco opening party on February 15th. Anarchapulco Genesis, February 16th to 20th. The Dollar Vigilante TCV Summit, February 21st. The Crypto Vigilante TCV Summit, February 22nd, Agorafoco, retreats, and other excursions, February 21st to 27th. Bufo and other plant medicines with Bearheart throughout the event. A special Iboga ceremony with Christoph Melchizedek from February 23rd. 2 Tesla plasma healing devices will be running throughout the event. Thanks to the Tesla Club. Bring the whole family. The Anacapulco Family Camp runs throughout the event with activities for non-lethally injected, free-range, unschooled pure souls. Anacapulco 2026. Genesis. Porto Vallarta,